We're here live on the red carpet of the East Coast Music Awards here in Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Stay tuned for interviews with VIPs, special guests, and artists.
All right, Maestro Fresh Wes, so tell me, what is one of your pre-performance rituals that you do?
Meditate if I can, just say a prayer, you know, and just know that I'm hopefully going to do something and say something that has positive impact on somebody out there.
Absolutely, that's awesome. So, moving here to the East Coast recently from St. John, New Brunswick, what are some things, I guess, that you noticed about kind of the East Coast music culture here that might be different from some of the bigger cities like Toronto?
That's a good question you asked, because I just saw a band perform last night from Newfoundland called, quote, The Raven.
Yes.
All right?
Yep.
Now, they're awesome. And I'm listening to their music, and some parts was like folk or country. And as I'm listening to it, I said, wait a minute. If you really listen, reggae is very similar to what they're doing. And I told one of my friends who I was with, who's an aficionado of music, and if you just put a little guitar, like a little something in there, in between those bars, then you think about it. Newfoundland used to make trades, the ports, with the Caribbean. So we have so much similarities. We have differences, we got a lot of similarities at the same time too. So based on the fact that I'm a music fan, right? I took time to listen to that, and shout out to quote the Ravens as well.
Absolutely. So you have obviously had lots of success with music in your career. Just thinking back, who's been one of your biggest mentors that you've had in either music or just life in general? And what is it that they said that kind of helped you and pushed you forward?
Before my name was Maestro Fresh Wes, it was Melody MC, and I was on a radio station at Ryerson University in Toronto. It was called 88.1, and the gentleman, DJ Ron Nelson, he said, that's Melody MC. He's only 15, and damn, he's good. That little encouragement right there lasted a lifetime. That's something. So words are very, very powerful. Words are very impactful, and we can change and make real positive impact on people's lives with the words that we use, that we choose to use, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, just one final question, Maestro. If you could go back in time and give some advice to kind of young Maestro who's just starting out music, just starting out life, what would you tell him? Or what would you get him to do differently?
Well, I would say don't make records, make history. Because anybody can make a record, but making history is when you do something, you say something that resonates. You see what I'm saying? You mentioned something to me earlier about high school students, right? I'm proud to say that I'll be doing the graduation of Leo Hayes 2022. So I'm gonna tell them the same thing. Don't make records, make history. Because everyone right now, we have the ability right now to make our own history. You know. All right.
Maestro, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spartan TV.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Morgan Toney, and I'm from Wamacook First Nation in Cape Breton.
All right, and then Morgan, what's your pre-performance ritual?
What was it?
Pre-performance ritual.
Pre-performance ritual
Yeah.
is me sitting in my hotel room drinking 2 cups of extra large teas.
Teas?
Yeah.
Nice.
From Tim Hortons. Has to be from Tim Hortons.
From Tim Hortons?
Yeah.
Has to be from Tim Hortons?
Has to be.
Okay. And then what advice would you give your high school self?
The advice I would give to my high school self is no matter what anybody tells you, do what you believe in and keep pushing for that dream that you have in your head.
Amazing. What was the best venue you ever played at?
The best venue I ever played at was in Portugal at Walmex. So Walmex is the most diverse music festival in the entire world. A lot of music buyers go there, and I got to showcase some of my music, some Mi'kmaq teachings, and some Mi'kmaq language in Portugal. So that was the biggest venue, but I don't know about tonight. We're here at the ECMAs, so you can't beat the ECMAs.
The ECMAs are pretty good.
It's pretty good.
And who was the biggest mentor that you've had, and how they impacted you?
The biggest mentor that I have is my mother, Jackie Toney. She's at home. She's fighting a stage 4 brain tumor at the moment. So she's watching the ECMAs from her bed, and she always been encouraging me growing up in my childhood. And when I started to pick up the fiddle, no matter what anybody told me, she told me, don't listen to all those haters. Do what you believe in. And so I'm here at the ECMAs because of my mom.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thank you so much.
I'm Breagh Isabel, and I'm from Sydney, Nova Scotia.
So Breagh, tell me, out of all Atlantic Canada, what is your favorite venue to play at?
Wow, that's a great question. I mean, I have to say, I got the chance to play at the Rebecca Cohen with Symphony Nova Scotia a few years ago, and that is very hard to beat. Such a beautiful venue, such amazing musicians, but I have a soft place in my heart for the Carlton as well. I played some of my very first shows there, songwriter circles, and it sounds beautiful, and it's a listening room, and yeah, those are probably my two favorites.
So Breagh, you've been involved in music for quite a while. Who was a mentor who kind of inspired you to kind of push further in music, and what was it that they said that kind of really stuck with you?
Oh wow, that's a good question. I mean, a big mentor of mine was definitely Gordie Sampson, who's a songwriter from Cape Breton, who I think he's the only Cape Bretoner to ever win a Grammy Award. So growing up, it was like, oh wow, you can be a songwriter from a really small place in Atlantic Canada and go on to do really big things and win Grammy Awards. And so he always just kind of, you know, having him as a role model really felt like, okay, it is possible to, you know, make a career and make a living out of the music industry. And in fact, there's people from this part of the world, like on the world stage, doing it and being wildly successful. So yeah, he's been a huge mentor.
Awesome. So after learning from Gordon and kind of taking those first steps in music, when did you realize that music wasn't just a passion, but a career opportunity?
Wow. I got very into music when I was in high school, like yourself, at the end of sort of my high school career, and I was making all those big decisions about what do I want to do in university. And I think it was during university when I was studying piano. I did my bachelor of music degree at St. FX. I think it was while I was studying music full time and kind of gigging and writing on the side that I realized, like, okay, yeah, if you're, you know, it's a tough industry, but if you kind of have multiple skills in your tool belt and you're passionate and you work really hard, I think it is possible to actually make a living out of this thing. So yeah, I guess it was during university that I really set my mind to it and said I want to be in the music industry.
Awesome, and that's so important, having all those tools, having a university degree especially in your back pocket. Great idea. So if you could go back to high school Breagh, take a time machine, okay, what would you tell her?
Wow. I would say, I mean, I was so lucky to find my community pretty quickly, and I feel like, you know, I would say go ahead and do that even earlier. Like, find the people you like to work with, you work well with, you write well with, you get along with, and keep those people close, because that, I think, for me was a big impetus into growing as a musician and as an artist. The people around me pushing me to be better and work harder. So yeah, that would be my advice.
Such an important message, such an important message. So just one final question, Breagh. Do you have any like pre-performance rituals that you do, like before you get on stage?
I've done it all. I went through a phase where I would do 25 squats right before I went on stage to get the heart pumping, get the blood flowing, but now I just do some vocal warm-ups and try to relax and maybe some deep breaths, and that's about it.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Spartan TV.
Cheers. Thanks.
My name is Andrew Waite, and I'm from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island.
Thank you. And what's your pre-performance rituals?
I like to have a banana. That's a really nice thing to do, and you know, maybe one beer.
Yeah. I mean, bananas are light on the stomach, right? For when you go and perform.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, what's your advice you give to your high school self?
To my what?
High school self.
My high. I'd say, are you crazy? You want to do that? You know, probably.
Yeah. And when did you know that music was more than just a passion for you?
It's really been a long time. I've been doing whether it's performing music or teaching music or you know, we own a rock school in PEI and we do a lot of stuff like that. So we've been doing this for a while. So.
That's awesome. Can you tell me a little bit more about your rock school?
Yeah, so it's been running since 2014, and it's grown up to, I think it's like 7 or 8 weeks of camp, and it's now happening in New Brunswick and different parts of PEI and 3 or 4 different types of music education.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, what's the favorite venue you've ever played at?
It's probably tonight.
Tonight, yeah?
Sure.
It is a pretty good one.
It's pretty great.
Yeah. And then, who's your biggest mentor, and how did they impact you?
I don't know. You know, that's a really hard question to answer. Like, are you talking a music mentor or just in life?
Well, you can do either or, but probably music.
Yeah, I guess I'm not really sure. My good friend Irish Mythen has taught me a ton, and you know, over the years, and so maybe her.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Dylan Menzie, and I'm from Prince Edward Island.
So Dylan, do you have any like pre-performance rituals that you do before you get on that stage?
Sometimes. It depends on like my mood for the day. If I'm not really feeling too great about getting up on stage and I'm looking for that extra little bit of juice, I like to put on Chance the Rapper. He's got, at the beginning of Acid Rap, he's got this song, it's called Good Ass Intro, and I put that on and it's like, the chorus is like, even better than I was the last time, baby. It's amazing. And it really puts me in the right mood. Yeah.
Absolutely. Chance always brings me up when I'm feeling down.
Yeah,
so
me too.
Really pump up. So, being in the music industry for as long as you have, who was a mentor kind of starting up that kind of gave you some advice, and what was something that really stuck with you about that advice?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't really consider him a mentor, but when I was like 15 or 16, I snuck into a Joel Plaskett concert, and before the show, I met him for like 5 minutes, and he's like, just so you know, like, you know, it's a lot of luck, and you gotta be in the right place at the right time, and like put in the time and the years, and it's like it's a patience game, and it's like it's not gonna happen overnight kind of thing, and I think that's a really good thing to think about is like the long haul, and if you want to do it for the rest of your life kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you could go back and talk to that 15-year-old Dylan, give him some advice, what would you tell him?
I would tell him to not beat himself down as much as I did when I was younger. Really, like, I was really hypercritical and like write songs for the love of doing it and because it's what you are so passionate about, and everything will work out great.
Okay. And Dylan, what is your favorite Atlantic Canadian venue to perform at?
Oh, that's a tough question. I'm gonna have to stick to my home province and go with the Trailside in Charlottetown. It's so cool right now, and there's so many amazing bands like that are playing in there. And so yeah, I'd say that's up there.
Awesome. Well, Dylan, thank you so much for talking to us today here on Spartan TV.
No, it's my pleasure.
My name is Yvette Lorraine, and I'm from Corner Brook, Newfoundland.
All right, thank you. And what's your pre-performance ritual?
Oh, pre-performance ritual. A really hot shower. Oh, I'm supposed to be looking in here.
Yeah, you can look at
A really hot shower and thinking about the lyrics of whatever song I'm about to perform and how I'm going to connect to them, whether they're still meaningful to me or whether I can connect to them in a different context, depending on how old or how new those songs are.
Yeah, it must be a really hot shower, yeah?
Really hot
Do you
shower.
like burn your skin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Inferno.
Yeah. And what advice would you give your high school self?
Oh, that I would give myself so much advice. It's hard to pick one piece of advice, but if I were to say one, I would say to stress less, enjoy the moment, be present in the moment, and enjoy being young. You know?
It's definitely very stressful in high school.
Yeah.
And what is the favorite Atlantic Canada venue you've played at?
Oh, that's actually an easy question for me. I would say St. Pat's Church in Woody Point, Newfoundland, which is just like a small town. This is beautiful church, best acoustics I've ever been in the world. Yeah.
And who is your biggest mentor, and how do they impact you?
Sorry?
Who's your biggest mentor, and how do they impact you?
Oh, I think my biggest musical mentor was someone named Gary Graham, who passed away a few years ago. He was my music teacher. And how did they impact me? He just allowed me so many opportunities to perform at all sorts of events, community events, seniors' homes, choirs, and always did it with such joy and detail, you know. Everything he did, he executed with purpose, and you know, just really what music is supposed to be about, which is sharing with others and giving back to your community.
He must have been very impactful for you then.
Yeah, I miss him. Yeah, it's good.
Thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you.
My name is Kellie Loder, and I'm from St. John's, Newfoundland.
Awesome, Kelly. So tell me, you're getting ready to perform on the stage. You're getting ready, getting pumped up. What is one of your pre-performance rituals?
I just don't do anything. I literally just sit with myself, think about the show, obviously make a set list, think about the moments in the show that are gonna happen, and that's it.
Yeah, and it's important, you know, to save your energy and
Absolutely.
then send it all out of
And when the show is done, I'm like, I'm done too.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So if you could go back in time, take a time machine and talk to your high school self, what advice would you give?
Oh, that it's gonna get better. That to love yourself, not to be so hard on yourself, and that it will get better.
Super important. Super important. Have you had any mentors, Kelly, that have kind of impacted you in a very important way? What was something they said that has really stuck with you throughout your life?
I've had so many mentors that, you know, are still in my life, and one in particular who always told me to trust my gut. That was like a big one. And from that, I've just learned so much. Yeah, be yourself, trust your gut.
What impact do you wish to leave on the music industry?
Oh, the music industry.
It's a tough one.
I want to bring more authenticity to the table, more, you know, maybe songwriting is so important, you know, and to me, lyrics are important, melody is important. Yeah, just...
Kelly, what I guess stands out to you when you think of songwriting? What is something really important and vital to be a good songwriter in your opinion?
The truth. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing words. As an aspiring musician myself.
Yeah?
That's awesome. Alright, Kelly. I won't keep
Can we hug? I want to hug you.
My name is Pierre Abshaw. I'm from Moncton originally.
Okay, and what is your pre-performance ritual?
Excuse me?
Sorry, what's your pre-performance ritual?
Pre-performance ritual?
Yeah.
Well, we have various, well, some we can't say online on air, but...
Some of us have a few beers, others don't. And we have this traditional handshake that we do every time before...
Handshake?
Yeah, that we do before we go on.
Do you think you could do it for us?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
They said...
Have a fella handshake.
They said...
The handshake.
A fella...
Right.
There we go.
Right.
Get it on film, because
Yes.
otherwise...
This is unique. Nobody gets this, you know.
Okay.
All right. Usually we do this. All right. Butter. Churning butter.
Churning butter, okay. I love it.
We do it every time before we go on.
Now we have to go rest because we're tired.
Oh, really?
No, actually, we have to go play because we did this.
Yes. Okay, and then what advice would you give your high school self? I know that's...
What advice would I get my
Yeah.
high school self? Get a steady job.
Steady job?
Become a doctor or an architect or an engineer.
Yeah?
And play guitar for the fun of it.
Guitar?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was the best venue you've played at?
Oh.
Yeah.
Here in Fredericton.
Yes, it's a nice place.
Yeah. Great answer.
Who would you say is your biggest mentor and how did they impact you?
Our biggest mentor?
Yeah.
John Lennon, Paul McCartney.
Yeah? They're nice artists. Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. So sweet.
My name is Zamani. I'm from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Yeah.
Okay, so Zamani, before you get up on that stage, you're getting ready to perform, you're ready to go, ready to shine.
Yeah.
What is one of your pre-performance rituals that you do?
Ooh, I think one of my pre-performance rituals would be to take deep breaths. I like to actually use visualization techniques. I know a lot of athletes do that, and I kind of have taken that and I imagine myself on stage, in the whole set, whole song, and how that feels to get through the whole thing and feel good about it. And then I feel like it kind of translates when I get on stage.
Absolutely, those meditation vibes, calming down before you get on, it's really great. Then you get up on that stage and you rock it. So tell me, if you could go back and talk to your high school self, what would you say? What advice would you give?
When I was in high school, I was really, really shy. I used to actually sing at a lot of the school talent shows, but I was shaking in my boots up there on stage. And so I guess I would tell myself, it doesn't really matter, what people think. I really had a passion for music. And so just to remember that my passion is greater than people's judgment, I think would be the most important thing to tell myself. Yeah.
So Zamani, at what moment did you decide that, music is not just a passion, but a career opportunity?
I think I realized that the more I started to perform and kind of enter into some of the industry spaces, I got to kind of experience what that's like and how my music can touch different avenues, and you can put music in movies, or you can release it and for streaming, and there's just so many different ways that music can be shared.
So Zamani, what do you think is so important about Atlantic Canadian music? Why do you think we have such rich culture here in Atlantic Canada?
I think it's something that is often overlooked, and I would love to see more of it worldwide. We have a lot of very, very talented musicians here, and I would just love to see us kind of soar the way people in the United States have, and for us to really get out there. Because, like I said, there's a lot of people here that are doing amazing things, and I want to see that for them. Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. So finally, Zamani, last question. What impact do you wish to leave on the music industry?
That's a tough one. I feel like for me, it's kind of about doing you. For me, music industry is definitely something where a lot of people are pressured to conform. But one thing that I don't want to do is to conform, and so I would love to be able to show people that it's okay to do what you love and not have to be something that doesn't feel organic or natural to who you are and what you love to do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Zamani, for joining us today on Spartan TV.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hey everybody, I'm Mallory Johnson, and I'm from Newfoundland and Labrador.
Perfect, Mallory. So tell me, before you get on that stage, before you perform, do you have any rituals that you do before you go?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Are you of age? I like to take a shot of whiskey. That's good.
Listen, you gotta get those spirits going, man.
Yeah, sometimes I just go over the words a little bit, hug some friends, hug my band. I mean, it's kind of different every time.
Yeah, those embraces before you get on stage, that emotional support.
Yes.
It's great.
Yes.
So, what kind of legacy do you wish to leave on the music industry?
Oh wow, that's a big question. I mean, I've always loved storytelling. I hope that my stories can resonate with those who are listening to them. I hope that at the end of the day, people can find a piece of their story in my songs, because that's what music does. It unites all of us. So
It brings us together.
As cliche as that sounds.
Yeah. So if you could take a time machine and go back and talk to your high school self,
yes,
what advice would you give yourself?
I would say don't take the no so hard. In this industry, we hear no more than we hear yes. It's true, you need a strong backbone, and it makes the yeses more beautiful. For sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so can you think of a mentor that you had kind of starting up, growing up, that said something that really resonated with you?
That said something. Well, not particularly said something, but my mom is a huge mentor for me. My mom is a country music artist as well. I was in a family band, traditional Celtic music growing up, so having that kind of role model was so special, and that's why I'm doing this now.
I've got great appreciation for Celtic music. I'm a bagpiper myself. So.
It's my favorite instrument.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Okay, and just one final thing. What is your favorite Atlantic Canadian venue to perform at?
Oh, is that fair? Well, I do love home. I love George Street, so there's a lot of special places. I love the Ship Pub. I love the Rock House. I love the Bull and Barrel. So many Shamrock City O'Reillys. I'm afraid of leaving people out, but George Street, where the party and the good music, you can walk into any bar and you see stellar musicians. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today here on Spartan TV.
Thank you so much for having me.
Je m'appelle Chloé Breault, puis je viens de Bertrand, au Nouveau-Brunswick.
Ok, bon, Chloé, avant que tu ailles dans le stage, qu'est-ce que tu fais?
Avant d'aller sur le stage. Écoute, je panique. J'ai tout le temps des petits papillons puis tout ça, mais je pense que c'est normal. On m'a dit que si on n'avait pas de petits papillons puis qu'on n'était pas fébrile avant un spectacle, ça veut dire que ça allait pas être un bon spectacle. Fait que je souhaite toujours avoir un petit papillon pour faire un bon show.
Pensez à Chloé comme une adolescente. Qu'est-ce que tu dis à Chloé?
Je dis, lâche-toi lousse. Je dis, vraiment, prends rien au sérieux. Have fun. J'étais quelqu'un de très, très, très timide quand j'étais jeune. Fait que je m'aurais dit, je pense, laisse la timidité de côté, puis enjoy-toi.
Okay, as-tu une place ici en Canada Atlantique que tu aimerais jouer la plus?
Pardon?
As-tu une place ici au Canada Atlantique que tu aimerais jouer?
Écoute, j'ai pas encore eu la chance d'aller jouer dans l'Ouest canadien, fait que ça, j'aimerais vraiment beaucoup.
Okay.
J'ai resté à Edmonton, en Alberta, pour 1 an, fait que ça serait cool de retourner là-bas pour faire des spectacles.
Okay. Et as-tu un professeur qui dit quelque chose d'important dans ta vie? Et qu'est-ce qu'elle dit?
Oui, j'ai eu une professeure, moi. D'ailleurs, quand j'ai commencé à faire de la musique, c'était dans une école de musique, puis sans cette personne-là, Isabelle Thériault, je serais pas en train de faire de la musique aujourd'hui. Puis elle m'a toujours dit, lâche-toi lousse, have fun, sois pas gêné, prends ta place. Puis c'est tout le temps ça que je me répète à chaque fois que j'embarque sur la scène.
Ah oui, et c'est les professeurs qui sont tellement importants dans les vies,
oui,
n'est-ce pas?
Vraiment.
Alors, Chloé, merci beaucoup et bonne chance aujourd'hui.
Merci à toi.
So I'm Tristan Grant, aka Wolf Castle, and I'm from Papineau First Nation, New Brunswick.
Okay, awesome. Wolf Castle. Tell me, what is your pre-performance ritual before you get on that stage?
I try not to drink caffeine or have any ice caps or anything like that. And basically, she helps me out stay calm. And I just kind of like try to get into a meditative state and just as calm as possible.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to kind of go before you get on that stage. So,
yeah.
So thinking back to kind of when you were young and you were kind of just starting out in music, who was kind of a mentor that you had, and what did they say that really resonated with you?
One of my earliest mentors was a family member Raymond Sewell. He's my uncle, and we started making music together when I was a teenager, and he really helped me just kind of, not so much what he said, but what he did. He had all the gear and the equipment, and we would just make music at my grandmother's house, and that's how I learned how to make songs with him, and he always supported me.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Wolf Castle, for taking the time to speak with me today here on Spartan TV.
Thank you very much.
It was great to be a part of the ECMAs and talk to everybody who's on the red carpet.
As nerves sink in as they make their way to the award show, it was great to hear some honest answers from all the award nominees and other special guests. And huge shout out to all of our sponsors who have helped us in Spartan TV along the way.